curious about? You tell me, I
It's
didn't.
about, I don't know if we should be in the cemetery business.
Well,
And there's gotta
it's
be
a
a
good
business
legit
plan for
question.
this. Are there deeds? Who gets them? Does
We're
the
not
citizens of
planning on
East Haddam
dying,
wanna
right?
pay for additional
We
land
don't
to
give a
mow?
shit.
Hey, you don't get the plan.
Well, they
I'm
already,
good with it, if everybody says
We're gonna
okay.
be
I'm
well, I
good
mean,
with
they
it.
already,
Next
they already
2,000
pay for what we
years.
have. More people are gonna be dying and more people are gonna be,
Put it in
Yes.
there. But that's, the question is,
you know, then what do they
we're
do?
paying to mow this piece of property.
Yeah,
We'll keep it on very simple terms. Now we have all of this. Are they gonna charge us the same amount to mow all of this?
no, it's gonna cost more.
Right. Now, who's
But
who's gonna take that burden?
Well, the taxpayers will.
Are
But
they
eventually
okay with
The
it?
taxpayers are gonna be in there.
Well, we don't know that.
Well, we don't know that they
But
won't
we're
be.
not in the cemetery business. It
But
just
we're
doesn't
in-
make sense.
But we're in the business of supplying a need for people,
Spots.
for
In
our
the other
residents.
towns,
Where does
I
it
don't think
say that?
anybody buy
It's,
into
these,
that.
these cemeteries have been here since the 1700s.
You always have
not-
cemeteries.
I'm not disputing our
Yeah.
existing cemeteries.
Right.
I'm disputing whether or not we need to buy additional space, and if it's the duty of the town to supply burial
Well,
space.
Well, they probably will end up a vote, I mean, it's
Yeah,
gonna, I mean,
that's what I
people
wanna
gotta,
make
Any
sure.
purchase
it's not gonna
property
be a
does.
decision made by us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't burial like a health issue, and then the town does have some responsibility for it? I understand your point, but.
Yeah, but there's usually a,
Dead bodies, like.
no, but there are actual businesses that do that.
Right, but they also made laws
Right
that
on
you
the
cannot
river.
just bury people in your backyard.
Little-
There's strict state guidelines
6
that you have
rafts
to
and just
go by.
send
them
So-
down the
So
river.
a lot of that, it's gonna fall on the town.
Yeah, Bernie.
People, if you don't,
We do the Viking funeral.
if you don't have a private one, then the town has to supply it. Cause you can't just
Environmentally.
bury them in your backyard.
It's a good point, though, I mean, that's gonna be challenged, I'm sure, as to who's paying for what.
Well,
But anyway, are you all set?
I'm ready.
Okay.
let's do it.
Seeing that it's 7:15, we'll convene the East Haddam Planning and Zoning meeting on September 10th. Could we have attendance, please?
Curry Brown out,
Here.
James Curtin,
Here.
Kevin Matthews absent, Harvey Thomas,
Here,
Bernard Gillis,
Here.
Louis Salacrup,
Yeah.
Ed Gubbins absent, Richard Pettinelli,
Here.
and Joe Zade.
Okay, Joe, you can sit in for Kevin and Rich for Eddie, or Mr. Govins. Okay. Okay, minutes of our previous meeting, which were August 27th.
I looked around, I didn't find anything, so. Well, I mean,
Anyone else? No. No?
Yeah, I thought I had brought up that the document we received from Jessic, unless I did bring it up, seems to be just, there's no judge's order, there's no seal, there's nothing,
Which,
not signed.
judgment order,
Yeah, the
Jessica,
stipulated judgment,
about,
the East Haddam Free Public Library.
oh,
did you, in other words, it should have been in the minutes, is that what you're saying?
I don't think you brought that up, because I would've researched it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I mean, that might have been a copy that they sent.
Because I don't
we
see it
just
in the
haven't-
minutes.
Yeah.
But a copy should have a stamp that it was
Yes.
filed, signed by a judge, because
At-
anybody could download this and print it out. I'm not saying that's what happened, but we should have the document.
At last evening's Board of Finance meeting, we got yay much, the judgment, the original will, a bazillion different bits of paper that Deb Danette researched this and blah, 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 blah. So it exists and is official.
It is a sealed document.
Not an embossed seal.
Well, it has to be filed, there's a file.
Yeah, yeah. And it, Ms. Danette should have a copy of it, if you wish.
Moving on.
Okay. Guess we'll accept the minutes as they are. Any, bills?
No bills.
Okay, special exception review, new, number 19-0885 Teeter Hill Road, Dave and Jane Savior. Special exception review to convert an existing Tai Chi studio to an accessory apartment, assessors map 13, lot 18.
So the building is there. It was approved as a home occupation way back in the 80s, I think. He's decided that that business plan and his age and health isn't working, so he's going to make a presentation to convert the existing structure into apartment under our new accessory apartment regulations. There'll be no change to the exterior, it'll be all interior changes, but, and I could be ready for a public hearing on October 8th.
Okay. Questions?
I'm good with it.
Okay, guess accept the motion to set a public hearing date
So moved?
for October 8th. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Discussion, cemetery review.
So you asked me last time to look if there was anything out there that really had anything feasibly next to it. Wasn't houses, steep slope and all that. So if we go to our original sheet of cemeteries, number 9, Tater Hill Cemetery, Tater Hill Road. It's owned by the town of East Haddam. Adjacent to it is just a little over 4 acres. Vacant lot, farmer's field. So, and it's, the soils according to the soil survey is good. Mount Parnassus, Smith Road, which is Mount Parnassus Cemetery, but it's on Smith Road. There's approximately between that cemetery and the stone wall in the back that kind of borders the wetlands, there's 5.6 acres that's there. It's owned by Wildwood, so it's owned by one person.
Tater Hill Cemetery, how much land do you think was there? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Tater Hill's got just over, it's 4.08 acres, the adjacent lot, which is vacant,
Okay.
single owner.
Thank you.
And the Smith Road one was how many?
There's, if you just square it out from the stone wall to the stone wall, it's 5.6 acres.
That's additional 5.6.
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
And you said that was owned by somebody?
Wildwood Associates.
So we would have to acquire it and.
Yeah.
Most of this we would, yeah.
Yep, yeah, none of these have, Town Farm Cemetery. That is the one that is off of Mount Parnassus, that has overgrown. There's, we were kind of talking about what's the potential about this is, so if you start at Warner Road, at the bottom of Mount Parnassus, Warner Road, the East Haddam Fishing Game Club pond,
Yeah.
you start going up the hill, on the right-hand side, there's an old road, which connects to Town Farm.
What number is that?
13.
13.
Oh, there.
And when you head up, I talked to Carl about it, I said, Carl, I went up there, I see the stone walls, I don't see a single stone. I see 60-year-old trees. He goes, well, I think the last person that was buried there was 1924. So it's there, but other than the house to the north, the 3 properties that are next to it is all owned by the same people. We did talk about down the future if somebody ever wanted to get into natural burials and, you know, the way, because that's a natural burial there. I mean, you're in between the trees.
So there's just area available within the
There's
cemetery
people in
bounds?
there. There's
But there, right, but this appears to
There's
be.
areas next door.
Oh,
I
next
wouldn't wanna even venture going in there, cause there's no markings whatsoever.
I mean, you can figure out
You
where
could
they are.
probably get this
but-
ground penetrating radar
Yeah.
and come up with something.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
To find out
or
where
like
the
green,
sites are.
green,
Burial.
burials, they call them, yeah.
Yep. That's an example of green
Now, is
burials.
that's town owned?
That's town owned.
Is it heavily treed or?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I said, so Carl, he said, windstorm comes. Yeah.
Bones
It comes.
come up.
The bones come up.
That happened, when one of the big storms hit in New Haven. Lost a big tree on the building. Started an investigation.
Bones in
pulled
it.
up the body. And the
Oh, no
green in
kidding.
New Haven was a cemetery. And then
Yeah.
they figured out that it was a body from like 1810 or something.
Wow.
So they closed the investigation.
Then number 17, Foxtown Cemetery. That is also owned by the town. There is a land that's owned by, iPark around it. It's just a very difficult get to. It's up on a hill.
Now, is that actually from iPark? That's probably just Ralph.
Yeah.
Himself. That's not, iPark's only got 60 acres with it.
Well, like.
That's on
right,
the other side, way the hell over.
Way over.
This must be Ralph, actually.
So that's not all one parcel, Jim?
What's that?
Ralph owns some, and
Well, I think
No,
he's got
it's
the,
like 400 acres or something,
Right,
and Ralph's
for 60 years.
got 60-something into iPark.
Oh.
And the rest is.
Other than that, if you go down, you know, the Hadline's limited, the Harvey Morris #2 is limited, it's got sloped acreage. We talked about, years, the Hungerford Cemetery adjacent soils are good on the map,
But they're,
we know they're not.
well, it's
They're-
high water table.
High- very high
Seasonal
water
high
table.
water. It's,
You know,
I don't know if the lot next to it, it carries over, but I know the cemetery itself does.
Yeah.
now, is that actually like a hard pan up in there, or is it better
Yes.
soil than that?
I don't know.
I was just wondering.
I've never dug into it.
It seems like it's wet, so it's gotta be a hard.
The only
thing
thing
to push.
about his layout there is, I mean, a big curtain drain could isolate a bunch of acreage that is making it totally usable.
Yeah, but a curtain drain has a usable life.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
It'll work
it'll
forever.
eventually clog up.
Oh, well, I've dug up ones that are 30 years old and they look like the day they were
Well,
put
keep on
in.
the ground longer than 30 years.
No, I'm saying this is just up gradient, intersecting the water and running it off. Stone envelope pipe, stone to the surface, lasts forever. I'm serious, it will. There's no real movement of,
So Riverview's got no property, Nathan Hill Park has the only one burial site. Warner is tiny, poor sight lines. Second burial site, which is way behind, there's limited access because it's behind the, horse farm there. Parker Cemetery, small area, slopes and wetlands. Three Bridges, there's a wetland piece that separates itself from the front lot that could be, there's 2 acres in the front that is dry, but it goes, that cemetery is surrounded with wetlands, and it's dry, so it's not contiguous. We talked about 11, 12, 13. Old Cove is private, it's gravelly, it's probably one
well,
of
the one
best
thing about
sites.
Old Cove though, there's nothing right around it.
Around it.
Right, so it is possible they could designate another area.
Where's Old Cove?
Plastics.
Plastics.
Oh, okay.
Really old
Yeah,
Yeah,
burial ground.
the first, isn't it? That's
One
where
of
they
them.
stopped.
one of the first, yeah.
The way they didn't have to take them across the river, it couldn't in the winter. First Church has additional space, they're private. Millington is town, is surrounded by the houses. We talked about Foxtown. Jewish Cemetery is based, that's got a little bit of space, but that's private. Modus, North Modus Road, private. St. Bridges, private. St. Bridges has approached me about looking for additional land somewhere in the future. Bashan Cemetery is limited because it's wrapped with the lake and houses. Basin Hill, limited because it's wrapped with houses, and that's a private association. And then Ackley it is what it is, the stone wall's there, and there's roads on 3 sides, all 3, it's a triangle on all 3 sides.
Just
of the road.
past it is the brook crossing, and I mean, there's,
Right.
if, you can't really get anything out of that. Unless you go on the other side of the road. I don't
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
maybe.
And even that's just a little
But,
piece,
if it's not contiguous, it kind of shaky.
so.
So we're really coming down to, you have like Smith Road, or Mount Panassa Cemetery. We don't have a lot of real options here then.
No,
Not if you're looking contiguous to
Right.
existing.
Correct. I think probably one of our best is, Mount Panassa Cemetery with a 5.6.
yeah, that's probably because Wildwood owns it and it's at the farthest extreme of their land. They have literally no use for it.
Correct.
But they might, but of course you gotta buy it. And then the private ownership on Tater Hill, just gotta pay somebody for it.
And that's only 0.8 acres.
No, that's the
Four
4.4 acres on Tater Hill, right on the corner, AP Gates, right there.
Tater Hill, oh, I missed that.
That's 4.06, you said?
4.08.
08?
That's the property behind it.
Behind it and on
Yeah,
Tater Hill.
to the right,
It's
yeah.
on road, he has a tractor there, he doesn't live, he lives in Norwich, he has a tractor there under a tarp.
Okay. I Park, Foxtown.
That's another possibility out there,
Mm-hmm.
because it's got 400 acres, so what's
Yeah,
another
but
acre?
the only problem with it though is you gotta park up on the road and then walk up the hill. There's no,
But it's possible usable. Yeah.
it's just like I stopped today, the other was that one across from Sienna Bells. That
Oh.
driveway's
Yeah,
horrible.
what do we call that one?
Town Street.
Town Street, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But there's no additional, anything there really to speak of?
There, well, they have openings, and
Oh,
the
they
land
do?
behind it's good, but that's a private one also, so.
There's
It's
land
just-
right
and
behind it?
And it's, I don't know how they do services, does everybody back up the hill?
Yeah, I know, the
I don't know.
access is.
I've never been to service there.
And do a 3-point.
See, that's
turn.
a big consideration.
Yeah, and then when I pulled out, I wanted to cut the tree to the left.
But that's a concern for the ones that, if you're gonna open something new,
Right.
but, I mean, if you're just talking about adding to something that already exists for the last 200 years,
Did you,
that's the way it goes.
how many acres do I have? Did you do that? I don't remember.
There's probably like, if you looked at that field alone that's next to it.
What, the field on the right?
Field, right?
I mean, on the left?
On the left?
No, you go to the right.
That's better
That's
soil.
more yours?
Well, no, the field on the right is my shooting range and the access to my my property.
There's no way that can be,
No,
interrupted.
no,
I
that's,
don't think they'll mind.
I have a rifle range back
I don't think they'll
there.
mind them, hearing it.
Mm, no. Yeah, they don't mind in the cemetery, but I'm not gonna
But let's
drive
face it,
over.
a cemetery like theirs, you're talking adding another acre or something, you're not gonna add 20 to it.
No,
Right.
no.
What were your comments on the First Church Cemetery?
They've got additional space.
They do, yeah, okay.
You can,
That's-
you can buy into that.
That's in the running, okay.
And the First Church also owns, what they have cleared, but they also own the wooded lot
Yeah.
south to
To
them,
the
they own
south,
all of
yeah,
that.
I'm looking at it here, yes.
So they have room for expansion.
So,
But again, they're a private one, so.
yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe at this point, maybe, should we wait until after the elections or send our comments to the selectmen?
Yeah.
And then after that, cause there's not much more we can do at this point unless,
No, I mean, it's fine. We'll see what happens.
how does the committee feel about that? Or the commission, I should say.
Whatever you want.
Bless you.
Whatever you
Excuse
wanna
me.
do.
We just have to repeat ourselves all over again, so.
Yeah,
For what?
if
Brought it up now.
do it now and you gave it to the board of selectmen now, you'd have to repeat yourself.
Oh, yeah. They only have 3 more meetings, I believe,
Okay, so
so.
that's the point.
and,
Start with somebody new.
they're getting pretty, they're
so where
fun
did
to
this
attend to.
request for additional space come from?
Actually, Emmett brought it to me.
Emmett did?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he getting feedback from the community or something?
No, he said, I've heard the rumors that there's no additional space, he goes, maybe we should start looking into considering that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I put a bug in his ear.
Did you? All right.
Both myself and Deb, who are the only cemetery committee members.
I figured Deb was involved in this.
Who?
Deb.
Deb and I are on the
Yeah.
commission.
Yeah, I figured.
So, they haven't appointed anyone else, we've had volunteers, but it hasn't gone anywhere, so, we just figured and then I heard that he had asked Jim, so, I said, well, we're all the elected planners, let's have a look into it, that's our job. Correct?
That's planning, that's what planning is, so.
We're planning, so.
Just so we're all on the same page. If we were to identify a plot adjacent to an existing town cemetery and said, we think that would be an ideal one to acquire, the process for acquiring it would be, and correct me where I'm wrong, we would have to hold a public hearing for 828,
Yeah, but.
because it's an acquisition of property.
Right, there'd be a
figure
lot
out
of
how much
steps
you need.
before that.
Yeah,
Um,
but then ultimately, it would be a town meeting that would have to authorize
Correct.
the purchase.
Yeah.
So it isn't like you say, let's do it.
Yeah.
And it isn't like the citizens get left out.
No.
So they can ask the questions that you were asking about, should we be in this business and do we wanna,
Make sure we weren't staying
Yeah.
ahead.
yeah, do we wanna
Someone's authority.
incur more costs and so on?
Jim, what are those steps that come before this?
Well, obviously, let's say we picked out a parcel and said identified it, and then there's, preliminary meets and bounds described from GIS, then there'd be discussion with the property owner. The property owner then would say, well, they're willing to allow an appraisal to initiate negotiation. We always tell people when we're buying a parcel that they should probably get appraisal of their own so that they feel confident in what's being presented. You'd negotiate, if there's a good negotiation and it seems fine, you'd then run that to the Board of Selectmen, who'd run it to the Board of Finance, and then run it back to us for an 8-24, then run it to the town meeting.
So there are lots of steps.
Well, you gotta find out how much money you need, if they're,
Yeah,
even if
right.
it's doable, so.
Yep.
First.
Thank you. Okay. Staley's Cider Fest.
So he sent an email with a narrative of what he wants to do. It's to be from 11 to 4, 5-hour period. He wants to do it on the side that the parking lot is on, not on the side where
It's not in the barn, in other
Not in the
words.
barn, no. He wants to set up in the field.
What's the date he wants to do it?
The date he wants to do it,
November 9?
November 9th. Yeah.
It sounds like he's going to have like vendors,
Yep.
Sounds like a chili fest.
yeah, food trucks and.
My photocopier decided to die on me today. Might have to So he did it in pencil. A big one. You got the best one.
How'd you luck out?
So he wants to have everything across the street.
One step.
More space, I'm assuming.
More space, and the parking's right there, so they can go right from the vehicle to the
Parking's right where?
Right in the parking lot there.
parking that's lined up, and then he's got additional field area for overflow parking.
So, it said in his narrative something about 15, now those are 15 what? Because
15 tents, like the pop-up tents
Oh,
with their own
tents
cider?
are like vendors?
Yeah.
Are they vendors or cider?
No, that's
Oh, they're
something
Two
else.
types of cider to try?
Yeah.
Oh, cider vendors, okay, versus the other 4 that he wanted, trucks,
Food,
food trucks, okay.
That's on a Saturday, right?
And what were the
Hunting
numbers
goods.
he was expecting? Do we have some?
300 to 500 tickets?
Well,
That's throughout the whole day.
Okay,
You know, if you can't go through 15 tents in a half hour, there's probably something wrong.
Is this connected to any other, tour or something?
Yeah, it's a whole week of cider week. So so the question I have is this an in-house review from the commission now, or do you want to schedule a public hearing?
Orient me where the barn is,
Across the street.
that's on this side of the street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is right now orchard or
that's orchard.
just pasture or?
Whatever.
Orchard, planted trees.
How close is he to the neighbors there? I'm trying to think.
The closest neighbor he has is the one that Carlson used to live in.
Carson's house.
Yeah, well, no, well, you have the other one, the first 2 houses.
The barn up in the
They were on
front.
the barn side.
Oh, they moved.
Oh, they moved?
You know,
Yeah, they moved.
what, the people that have been renting there for the last 18 years,
You know,
they
the
moved?
people that,
Got the lawyer on
they
top.
got the lawyer to show up to the meeting.
About the
Chittenden
barn?
Lane.
From Chittenden Lane.
Oh, they moved.
They moved.
Oh, that's the house that's for sale back there.
Yeah, that's a long ways
Whatever.
away from this though.
Because it's just getting too crowded.
Yeah.
They couldn't stand the sight of sap.
Oh, well. But the old Allegra farm that's right there, how far are they away from?
Yeah, that's a residence now.
That's quite a ways.
Yeah, that's-
And didn't the gentleman who owns,
500 feet?
Oh, every bit of that, yeah.
Yeah.
Then the didn't the couple who owned the Seraph, they bought the house next to that?
They're probably 600.
So we have people that are 500 or 600 feet away. Do we need to call a public hearing? Or do we take care of this in-house? I guess that's the question.
Well, it's,
This is
for a short time. This is just a one-day thing, it's not a few hours.
Correct.
So,
We need police.
Would on-street parking be allowed if there was need for overflow?
If
5
he
hours.
really needs overflow, he can go into the field diagonally across the road. See where the thing, it says gate for vendor exiting, there is some space in that field too. Which is towards,
Yeah, that should be his problem, right, that he's got that many people showing up.
well, that's, yeah.
Is there live music?
There is one little live music thing, it was in the narrative.
Well, we have a whole list of things that they have to, make sure that they provide.
They got the bathrooms.
Yep,
They're
all
going,
that.
they're working with the Chatham Health District right now to make sure that all that's in place.
now the food trucks, they have to have their own permits, correct?
Correct. That they get, typically they're doing now is they're just going to the Chatham Health District and getting approval for the entire district.
I guess my only concern is, are we concerned about overflow traffic and traffic control?
The
I mean,
police
what we normally, I mean, if we had a similar event, do we require them to come in? I mean, this, size-wise. it's
Thing is,
comparable.
if we had a
Definitely,
public
but-
hearing for this and we went through the public hearing process, then in the future, assuming it all went well, you can just.
Then we don't
and then
have to.
administratively, you can just move on.
Because we've done that with
I mean,
everyone else.
it's a sizable event.
How about the Filipino church?
That's
What-
fine, that's why we're asking.
Did we have a hearing for the Filipino church event?
Didn't for the church event, no. No, they just kind of made us aware.
But we used to do it for,
We've done it for Sunrise, but you
Yep.
know, that was 20,000 people. We did it for the fairs.
yep, we did it for,
I mean,
the campgrounds,
Yeah, the campground, because
when they had the
had-
motorcycle
They
festival.
had the festival
Yeah.
there.
but then once we did it that one time, then.
Well, then we went administratively after that, because there were no problems.
Correct.
I think the issue is probably traffic, but people are not gonna be coming all at once, I don't think.
Why don't we pull them in for the public hearing the first time and see how it goes and
See who
take it
shows
from
up.
there?
Well,
Let's
there's
just do it that
also
way.
the possibility
Let's just
that
make sure
neighbors
the
would be
neighbors know.
concerned, and
Then
that
they get their.
they get their
concerns
2
in.
cents in
Yeah,
there as
let's
to what
just-
their concerns are.
Just air it out in public and we'll go from there.
From there, yeah.
So you want, the 8th?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I guess I'd entertain a motion to set a public hearing date for Staley Cider Fest for October 8th.
So moved.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Plan of Conservation Development.
Okay, so 2 items. One, I sent to you the, hopefully the final of the, yes, you can keep the executive summary. I sent, Mike some minor revisions to the full plan. He was working on them today. And the question I have is, we have like $1,000 in printing left over in the budget for this. The first time 2008, we printed 200 copies. I'm still sitting after 10 years with 80 copies.
90.
No, I got 80. I got 80.
Can we change this picture? We should put that one on there.
What is that?
You didn't see this?
I'm a little
I don't know
partial.
whether that was photoshopped or not, that's what it was.
First of all, that picture is of Haddam. If you look at it.
Who cares? It's that hit swing bridge.
I'm a little partial to this.
That was.
It's his
Well,
picture.
I don't care. I think that's
Why, you took
intense.
that?
But you don't see the bridge though in it. It's
The bridge is right there.
I know.
We
but-
should have a picture of the bridge stuck
Very-
open.
That's Photoshop.
It's from the East Haddam.
Who cares?
Tornadoes.
Sun's
Was it
setting.
photoshopped?
It has to have been. We didn't hear of any.
No, he got 5 shots like
Good
that.
point.
Yeah, but were they real?
Do
I
we
mean,
care, really?
they're intense.
That's not the
pictures.
sunrise.
Never, you didn't see those?
Well,
You're not on
On the
Facebook?
community.
No, I avoid that like the plague.
Oh, come on, so you're missing a bunch.
I don't care.
Oh, they're intense. I mean, I only copied 3 of them, but
Yeah, that was.
That's a tornado.
Yeah, I think that's an intense picture.
It's an incredible.
Booming
picture.
industrial
Even
area.
that one is.
Yeah.
Take this seriously.
Wouldn't that be, that would, I mean, that would grab your attention. Don't you think?
Let me see
Oh,
that.
it was off.
Don't you think that would grab your attention?
God, it looks
I
like
can lighten that.
a storm or something.
It was last week's storm.
That went all the way from New Haven, all the way
Wow.
up through East Hampton.
Go to the,
I mean, it's, you know,
yeah, go that way, and there's a
So
couple
what
more.
is your thing about this?
I vote no on changing the cover picture.
yeah, this sends the wrong message.
Oh, I don't think so.
Yeah, we're not.
Come on
kids.
over.
It's a beautiful, it's a beautiful shot.
We're not kids.
So,
You need to lighten this up a little.
yep, he just said that. So we're
The
trying.
original picture's much better.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that's.
I didn't know we were
'Cause
submitting
that's what I was
pictures.
wondering, is it's almost.
He emailed me one day because they needed like color pictures, so they.
And I have pictures of the ice thing too, when the ice was there. That's pretty cool.
Trying to
I'm
encourage
not
people to
really
come
inviting
in.
picture though.
So, is it safe bet if I printed 50 of these to start?
Yeah, of these.
No, of the full ones,
How many did we order the last time?
200.
200?
You still have how many left?
I got 60 plus left.
Well, how much would it cost to if we run out, how much is it gonna cost to reprint it, to start up again?
Probably not all that much, cause it's computer this time,
Yeah,
it's
that's
not,
true.
it's not.
I just wonder if we should go for an even 100 and leave it at that.
Sure, I'll get an estimate for it then,
Okay,
before I do anything.
and how about these?
These, whether I print them in-house or have them, I'll get an estimate for those too.
Ernie, were you happy with the introductory on this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Just wanna make sure.
I'll make sure you're happy. Nobody else.
Okay, so, yeah, it was clear.
If Bernie's not happy, nobody's happy.
No.
That's cool. I was bored of that.
You were crying at.
Irish Catholic.
Okay, anything else on the plan of conservation development?
No, no,
He doesn't what?
Sir,
Doesn't?
what are you here for?
My name's Jim Fenema. I'm a member of the EDC,
EDC?
Economic Development.
Oh, okay, yep.
Commission. I thought I was gonna meet Bob Kasner here. and
He's on
give him an
vacation.
Update on what we've been looking at with the zoning.
Mhm.
He's not here, so I have nothing
That's fine.
to discuss with you.
He's in Maine.
News to me.
Yeah, really.
skip ship on you.
He's probably sitting on my deck
You
having
know
a
when he
drink.
does it.
But, okay. Anything you wanna comment on?
No,
No? Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. CEO, I'm sorry,
Oh, I said, sounds like my dad.
CEO report?
Nothing outstanding zoning wise, Dan's being a good boy out there at Lakeside Dan's, and I'm just waiting for the contractor to fix the pipe out there and get that done.
I noticed the sign at the end, at the four corners for Sanibel's.
There's signs everywhere for everybody. There's farm signs, there's
Okay.
A lot of farm stuff.
signs, they're just everywhere, and it's,
I know Mira had
and I did discuss it with him last week.
that sandwich board sign, so I'm wondering if that was because it was a sandwich board?
What's that?
The one for the bait shop and,
Well, he took those down, hopefully they
Yeah,
come
I know.
back again.
no, I was just wondering why we made him take them down,
Well,
because of the size.
No, he had them off-site again, and then technically you're not supposed to have any off-sites.
Yeah.
We've got off-sites everywhere, so
Same with, Joe.
Joe, farm.
That's the
son.
only one I've seen of his, though, right? Is
That's the other
at
one,
the
yeah.
intersection there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But there are signs all over everywhere.
So what's our position on that? We just let it go?
well, we have to rein them all in because
Gotta
we
bring
do
them
have a
all
sign
in
zoning.
together, all the men will get yelled at by EDC.
Well, that's what I'm thinking,
Let's see,
it's-
Bob's on vacation, so it's a good time to do it, right?
Yeah. Just take them all down, start over. We also have elections coming up, so all the political signs are gonna be going up. They're always very good about taking them right down.
Well, we have good regulations on that.
Yeah, well, we do for the other ones too.
Yeah?
They're just not enforced. It's
Political
hard.
thing is 30 days, right? 30 days or 60 days, I forget what.
I forget what it is, but, yeah.
30 days before the election? No, 10 days after the election.
Yeah, but I think it's 60.
60 days before.
60.
So they should all be coming out, like real soon.
I think it's always been a standard thing, they come out after Labor Day, and unless there's a primary.
I haven't seen any yet around here.
Now, is anybody, oh, I'll wait till after the meeting.
Yeah. Okay, anything else we need to discuss?
I was curious. We've got a letter from Torrance Downs, from the River Cog, having to do with something happening in Essex. Was that just a,
No, East Hampton.
East Hampton.
Hampton.
Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry. Then I understand why we got it.
Yeah, so I thought this is just amazing, because I said, what's this, and I read, I said, St. Clements, I've gone to weddings there, what do you mean they're not approved for any of this? They've never been approved for any of this for decades.
I just didn't understand
Yeah,
that
but
when I
they
read
just
it.
bought the marina next door, Cobalt.
They weren't even approved for the up above, so they rezoning it to give them approval, that was the,
Yeah, because somehow or other that was never officially changed. to
no, they were
residential.
doing a commercial operation in an industrial zone.
There's some concern about the noise traveling across to the Middletown
Yeah.
area.
That was considered industrial?
Yeah.
And what was there?
Marina or something.
An Occam picking.
Yeah, I mean, it was their zoning.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, it started to operate as a,
Weddings and.
wedding venue, and then it got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And it didn't hit the fan until they had the fire.
And I mean,
And when they had the fire, they investigated, they said, we can't issue a permit, it's not zoned for this.
they're talking about weddings disturbing the people on the other side of the river. Like they never noticed Cannell
Power
and the power plant, and now the
Yeah.
gas plant on the hill. Holy crap!
I
I'm
just-
worried about somebody
And the
having a
gunshots.
wedding or something.
When was the fire?
A couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Yep. Right after.
I've never been there.
The fire where at St. Clements?
Yeah, they were up in the main building above.
Okay. Any comment on this?
They just are noticing us. I mean,
Yeah,
if
we're noticed because we're a budding community.
If we wanted to comment
Yeah.
or something.
Any comments?
No.
We wanna send
Not to me.
as a planning board?
Doesn't affect us, so.
Okay, I'm sure
Them hassle their
Emmett will,
hassles.
can comment on it. He's on COG. Okay, I guess I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Someone,
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
now, does anyone else know that they preempted Jeopardy a
We're all
couple days?
healed up and.
Four.